I'm surprised you still travel with this Amelie.
Carver don't.
You're ever... so busy with the guardsmen. It must...
So I'm just saying, blood's blood and all, but you are taking advantage of my hospitality. It's only fair if you make something of a monthly contribution.
You sold my children into servitude. Now you're asking me to pay rent?
Maybe just put something towards food.
We found the will.
Grandfather left everything to Mother and us. I guess he had some sense after all. See for yourself.
I should... maybe...
To my daughter Leandra, and all children born of her. The estate in Hightown and all associated revenues.
We have a home, Mother. A real home.
They forgave me. Mother forgave me. But... Gamlen, how could you?
You're the one who ran away, Leandra. What happened to love is so much more important than money.
It is!
You didn't even come home for the funeral.
The twins were a week old.
We all have our burdens. Mine was looking after a life you abandoned. How long was I supposed to wait?
You'll spend the rest of your life paying my mother back for what you stole.
Andraste's ass, I will.
I don't expect that, Gamlen. It's enough to know Mother and Father didn't die angry. I'll petition the Viscount for rights to reclaim the estate. Make a willing, you'll have your house back within weeks.
You don't have the coin or standing to even get an audience with the Viscount. You've got to be someone in this city to live in that house again.
Then I had better get started.
Thank you very much for the help earlier, Varric.
You made it back to the alienage in one piece, then?
I don't know how I wound up in Darktown. There are just too many corners in Kirkwall.
Still got that ball of twat.
I left it at my house. Don't worry, I won't get lost while we're following Hawk.
Bring it next time, Daisy. Just in case.
Now you go!
You're gonna regret it!
There's the dead drop. Hopefully the wardens will appreciate this. you let this get away from you.
I had long since paid my debt. It's grand to see it again.
You again. What do you want?
I hear you know where I can find a Ferelden Grey Warden.
Only Ferelden Grey Warden I've heard of slew the Archdemon to save us all. Fat lot they care here. We're out of the Blight's path now. Why would you need a warden?
The healer was one of them once, wasn't he? A warden?
Well, he's not now, and busy enough without answering fool questions about it.
Then I'll only ask very smart questions.
I do not joke, Sirrah. You see what our people face in Kirkwall. They have no jobs, no homes. Most can barely buy bread. This healer, he serves them without thought for coin. He's closed their wounds, delivered their children.
And yet he needs to hide.
He's a good man. I won't lose him to the blighted Templars.
You mean he's a mage?
Would I stick my neck out for some purveyor of hensbane and leeches? He doesn't want to be locked in the gallows just for using the gifts the Maker gave him.
Your healer is in no danger from me.
If this mage is an apostate, the Templars will find him.
I suppose it isn't my secret to keep. Anders has certainly been free enough with his services. Refugees in Darktown know to find the healer, look for the lit lantern. If you have need enough, Anders will be within.
I asked at 30 farms for work. Not one is hiring.
Hey, we heard you in there, asking about the healer. We know what happens to mages in this town. And it ain't gonna happen to him.
I'm as Ferelden as you. I won't harm your healer.
Ferelden? But your clothes. I figured you for a Kirkwaller, sorry. Make her bless the rule of our Queen Honora.
Greetings, my lady. You look like a woman who'd appreciate the finest rubies from Antiva raising her lovely neck. I bring only the best northern merchandise to the free marches.
Actually, I'm more interested in your son.
My lady, I'm a bachelor. I've never met a woman of sufficient beauty and charm to tie Vincento down.
That's the best you can do with a guard staring you in the face.
Let us not ruin the day with such weighty thoughts. Perhaps I could show you my silks.
We're not Templars, Sirrah. Fainriel has nothing to fear from us.
Maldición, you are a mage. I suppose you'd be kind then to a boy who resists being taken in by Templars?
To an elf-blooded child abandoned by his human father? Of course we would.
The boy's in over his head. So I sent him to the only man I know who doesn't despise mages. A former Templar named Samson.
Why would a Templar help him?
His conscience plagues him, having served the Templars too long. He now helps mages on the run. He stays out of sight during the day. At night, he stays near Darktown. That's the best place to find him.
Only younger and shorter.
Just keep walking, Shepard.
Made this place a sanctum of healing and salvation. Why do you threaten it?
I'm just here to talk.
We're interested in getting into the deep roads. Rumor has it you were a warden. Do you know a way?
Did the warden send you to bring me back? I'm not going. Those bastards made me get rid of my cat. Poor Sir Pouncelot. He hated the deep roads.
You had a cat named Sir Pouncelot in the deep roads.
He was a gift. A noble beast. Almost got ripped in half by a Genlock once. He swatted the bugger on the nose. Drew blood, too. The blighted warden said he made me too soft. I had to give him to a friend in Amaranthine.
So you came to Kirkwall just to escape the wardens?
You say that like it's a small thing. Yes. I'm here because there's no warden outpost, no darkspawn, and a whole host of refugees to blend in with. And some reasons of my own.
I've always heard that joining the wardens is for life.
That's only partly true. The hopelessly tainted by the darkspawn and plagued by nightmares about the archdemon parts don't go away. But it turns out if you hide well, you don't have to wear the uniform or go to the parties.
I'm part of an expedition into the deep roads. Any information you have could save people's lives.
I will die a happy man if I never think about the blighted deep roads again. You can't imagine what I've come through to get here. I'm not interested... Although... a favor for a favor. Does that sound like a fair deal? You help me, I'll help you.
Help my expedition reach the deep roads. And I'll do whatever you need.
You don't ask for my terms. What if I were asking for the Knight Commander's head on a spike?
Is that what you ask?
You decide. I have a warden map of the depths in this area. But there's a price. I came to Kirkwall to aid a friend. A mage. A prisoner in the wretched gallows. The Templars learned of my plans to free him. Help me bring him safely past them, and you shall have your maps.
Tell me about your friend.
His name is Carl Thekla. He was sent here from Ferelden, when Kirkwall Circle required new talent. His last letter said the Knight Commander was turning the Circle into a prison. Mages are locked in their cells, refused appearances at court, made tranquil for the slightest crimes. I told him I would come.
Are these accusations true?
Ask any mage in Kirkwall. Over a dozen were made tranquil just this year. The more people you ask, the worse the rumors become.
What do the Templars know of your plans?
I don't know. I had been exchanging notes with Carl through a maidservant in the gallows. Then the letters stopped coming.
You want to make your friend an apostate?
That's such a weighted term. Yes, Andraste said magic should serve man, not rule him. But I've yet to find a mage who wants to rule anything. It goes against no will of the Maker for mages to live as free as other men.
Forcing mages into servitude is not the way to prevent the rise of another Imperium.
That's not usually the response I get. Perhaps we will work together better than I expected.
How do you plan to break him out of the gallows?
I'm hoping it won't come to that. I sent Carl a message to meet me in the Chantry tonight. Maker willing, he'll be there, alone. But if there are Templars with him, I swear I'll free him from them, whatever the cost.
I would help any mage in such circumstances. Map or no.
Now you're just trying to get on my good side. I welcome your aid. I have already sent word for Carl to meet me in the Chantry tonight. Join us there, and we'll ensure that no matter who is with him, we all walk away free.
Never knew humans could be this cool.
I saw Carl go inside a few minutes ago. No Templars so far. Are you ready?
I didn't see anyone suspicious out here. Let's do this fast.
All right. I'll handle the talking. You watch for Templars. When we find Carl, just let me talk to him.
Anders, I know you too well. I knew you would never give up.
What's wrong? Why are you talking like...
I was too rebellious, like you. The Templars knew I had to be... made an example of.
No!
How else will mages ever master themselves? You'll understand, Anders. As soon as the Templars teach you to control yourself. This is the apostate.
No!
You will never take another mage as you took him.
Anders, what did you do? It's like... you brought a piece of the Fade into this world. I had already forgotten what that feels like.
I thought the Tranquil were cut off from the Fade forever.
When you're tranquil, you never think on your life before. But... it's like the Fade itself is inside Anders. Burning like a sun. Please, kill me before I forget again. I don't know how you brought it back, but it's fading.
Carl, no!
Maybe we can find a cure.
Can you cure a beheading? The dreams of tranquil mages are severed. There is nothing left of them to fix.
I would rather die a mage than live as a Templar puppet.
I would rather die than be tranquil. Help him.
I got here too late. I'm sorry, Carl. I'm so sorry.
Now! It's fading! Why do you look at me like that?
Goodbye. We should leave before more Templars come.
That wasn't normal magic you just did, was it?
This is hard to explain. When I was in Amaranthine, I met a spirit of justice who was trapped outside the Fade. We became friends, and he recognized the injustice that mages in Thedas face every day.
And that's different than a demon.
Just as demons prey on the deadly sins of mankind, there are good spirits who embody our virtues. Spirits of compassion, fortitude, justice. They are the Maker's first children, and they have all but given up on us.
The spirit sounds like a useful friend to have.
He was far better to me than I have been to him. To live outside the Fade, he needed a host. I offered to help him. We were going to work together, bring justice to every child ever ripped away from his mother to be sent to the Circle. But I guess I had too much anger. Once he was inside me, he changed.
So, you have this spirit of justice living in your head?
It's not like that. He's gone now. He's part of me. It's not like we can have a conversation. I feel his thoughts as my own. Not even the greatest scholar could tell you where I end and he begins.
This is obviously difficult for you.
I thought I was helping my friend. He would have died, I guess. If that even means anything. And he wanted to help me. He knew what mages have suffered. But my anger, when I see Templars now, things that have always outraged me, but I could never do anything about, he comes out. And he is no longer my friend, Justice. He is a force of vengeance, and he has no grasp of mercy.
Can Justice ever be separated from you?
I don't think so. The only way a spirit has ever been separated from a living host is by its death. The curse is of my own making. All I can do now is hope to control it.
Can you bring him out at will?
No. He comes only when I've lost all power over myself. It's a madness, a frenzy. I only find out after what I might have done.
Is there anything I can do for you?
You're the first one I've ever told this. Thank you for not running away. My maps are yours. As am I, if you wish me to join your expedition. I thought I was done with the Grey Wardens. But if you have any need of me, I will be waiting here. I've been neglecting my patients lately. I should spend more time here.
May as well be slaves. At least they're one.
Old Vincento said someone might come sniffing around. You're looking for the boy, right? Feign something. I'll tell you now, there's not much I can do for you.
I'm looking for a retired Templar named Samson.
Retired. Sounds better than burned-out husk of a Templar begging coins in the choke damp. They don't do anything to keep you, you know. You join the Order, you're free to walk away. But they're the only ones who got the dust.
The dust?
Lyrium, an ore the dwarves mine. Magic in its raw form. You need to drink the stuff to face down the magicers, Problem is, if you ever try to stop, it just about kills you.
Is it true you give aid to apostates fleeing the Templars?
The mages I help, they're no more than children, newly discovered their magic and terrified. Barely left their mother's skirts, and now we're saying they got to be locked away for their own good. That demons are hunting them. Do you wonder they run?
Did you meet the boy?
Afraid so. Blighter was dead broke though, not a silver on him. I helped one mageling for free, and I'll never get paid again.
Charity to a point, I see.
I pointed him to a ship captain I know, Rayner. Sometimes he'll take on runaways. Took another apostate last week, girl I sent him. Might have gone wrong though. I heard rumors he took the both of them captive instead.
Please tell me it's not too late to save him.
Rumor has it, Rayner had the pair of them locked inside a Keys warehouse, somewhere close to dockside. You want to go looking? You might find the lad before he gets ransomed to the Templars. Or worse.
Get a hold of her.
Please, help me. Anyone.
Get the hands! I heard they can't do no spells without hands.
You know nothing of magic.
What was her name? Where were they taking her? You must really like the Hawke family.
Why do you say that?
You came all the way from Lothering with them, didn't you? And they're not even your clan.
Humans don't have clans, Meryl.
Exactly. You came so far together, and you didn't even have a keeper to make you get along.
So your keeper tells you to stop kicking each other, or she'll turn the Aravel around?
I had a friend like you once. Got in all kinds of trouble. Dragged me along. Didn't think I'd be doing that again. I got a bit weighty the last time we talked. Sorry for putting that on you.
You can tell me anything.
Anything? Be careful what you offer. I hope I didn't seem too selfish when I told you about justice. I didn't know what would happen. I figured a willing host, a friend. It had to be better than playing the demon and haunting some corpse.
We can't always predict the outcome of our actions. We can only make them with a true heart.
Kind, wise, and beautiful. You must have made a deal with some demons yourself. I'm sorry, I shouldn't presume. We've hardly met, and I feel like I know you. Am I making you uncomfortable?
Doesn't mean I want you to stop.
I'll keep that in mind. I warn you, though. I'm not a safe man to get involved with. I'll hurt you.
Why would you hurt me?
You saw what I did in the Chantry. That's who I am. A year ago, maybe we could have had something. But I'm not that man anymore. I'll break your heart. And that might kill me as surely as the Templars.
Look here, boys. Volunteers. Clap 'em in irons and let's see what the Tevinters will pay for 'em.
The boy you bought from Captain Rayner. Where is he?
Feisty don't get you a better price. Shut this bitch up.
Looks like they took him to some bolt hole in the Wounded Coast.
Did Lothering have any lineage?
It wasn't a big enough village to have a wall around it, let alone a place for elves.
Where did the elves live then?
stables and outbuildings mostly.
I think I like alienages better.
Take one more step, and the boy dies.
Tell this dirtbag who we are.
If I were you, I wouldn't be threatening the Viscount's son. What? Oh, I suppose you just got a tip from a slaver that he was selling mage flesh cheap. You never thought to ask where he got it? You never wondered if you were buying the Viscount's well-known love child from his elven mistress. The boy he swore to protect, even if it meant raising the entire Free Marches?
I seek no war with the Free Marches. Take the lad to his father.
Oh, that's quite a generous offer.
This was the price set on the boy. Please accept it as an offer of peace.
Who are you? Are you working for the Templars?
Your mother sent me.
Huh. Hardly a difference. I can't believe her. My whole life it was all, I'll love you and protect you. Then I have some bad dreams and it's off to the Templars.
I'm here to help you, Fainrail.
Why? You don't even know me.
I am you.
You know, you're the first mage I've met. Most are locked up like lepers. Is there any chance you'd help me reach the Dalish? That's where I was trying to go. See if they'd take me in. I'm as much Dalish as human.
You'd be alone among the Dalish. Even more than a Dalish would be here.
Compared to being held prisoner, or made tranquil, I'll risk being lonely. Look, I know it's different in other kingdoms, but here, no one helps circle mages. Anything the Templars don't like, you get the brand. The Dalish.
they've had magic forever. They could teach me. I won't be a danger, I swear.
It will be your humanity that marks you among the people, not your magic. But I think they will take you.
If there was another way, the Circle would know it.
You deserve a chance at freedom.
Thank you. I did not. In my wildest dreams, I could not have foreseen this. Thank the creators, you were the one my mother hired to find me. I will forever be in your debt, friend.
Whatever their differences, his mother deserves to know he's alive.
Daisy, for my sake, please quit cutting through the alleys in Lowtown alone at night.
Nothing ever happens. I'm perfectly safe, Varric.
Yes, I know. And that nothing is costing me a fortune.
You owe us, Isabella.
Well, Lucky, I'll tell you what. Since the information you gave me was worth nothing, that's what I'll pay you.
Me and my boys will get our money's worth, bitch.
Oh, you poor sweet thing. Tell me, Lucky, is this worth dying for? I didn't think so.
You're new around here, aren't you? Welcome, and keep your wits about you. You're nothing but tits and arse to the men in this place, and they won't hesitate to grab at both.
Speaking from experience, are we?
After a few broken fingers here and there, they got the idea. I'm Isabella. Previously Captain Isabella. Sadly, without my ship, the title rings a bit hollow. You're Ferelden, aren't you? You have that look about you. I was in Denerim not too long ago. You know, you might be just what I'm looking for to solve a little problem I have.
I'm always ready to help.
Someone from my past has been pestering me. I've arranged for a duel. If I win, he leaves me alone. But I don't trust him to play fair. I need someone to watch my back.
What makes you think I'm right for this?
You saw me talking to Lucky, didn't you? those boys couldn't manage simple information gathering. I can't trust the riffraff in this place to do anything right. But you're different.
Who's this person you've arranged to meet?
His name is Hader. We worked together back in Antiva. He's never liked me. He's been asking about me all around Kirkwall. Thought I'd get it over with and meet him face to face.
You wanted information from Lucky. What was it?
I asked Lucky and his boys to track down something I lost. They failed to do it. It's nothing to worry about, and this is much more important.
Why a duel?
I like duels. It's what I do. And if I win, he'll be dead. Problem solved.
I think I could manage watching your back.
I'll bet. I've arranged to meet Hader in Hightown after dark. I'll meet you there.
So, I've been dying to know. What was going through your head when you fought that ogre?
I knew that whatever happened, I had to get the others to safety.
Lots of people talk about nobility and selflessness, generally in the same stories that have magic beans. Somehow, Hawk, I imagine things won't be dull with you around. Not that I expect the deep roads to be boring, mind you. Constant threat of doom does tend to keep you awake.
Anything in particular I should know about your brother?
To understand Bartrand, you've got to understand the Dwarven Merchants Guild. These are dwarves who would sell their mothers if they thought it'd get them a better share of the lyrium market. Anyone who deals with them has to sleep with a knife under their pillow. In my family, that's Bartrand.
What are your plans for this trip into the deep roads?
Bartrand's running the show. On Draste's ass, he'd probably do that even if we weren't paying for everything. The tide we're looking for is supposed to be a week's travel from the surface, so I hope you aren't scared of the dark. We've got supplies, muscle, excavators. The plan is to carry out everything that's not nailed down.
If we'll be working together, I should find out more about you.
You're in luck. I'm always willing to talk about myself to beautiful women. My family came from Orzammar, noble house Tethras, until my father got caught fixing provings. He and our whole house got exiled. No huge loss. I was born up here. Sunshine suits me just fine.
Are you a merchant? A mercenary?
I'm a younger son. It's a difficult and dangerous profession. A lot of us die of boredom. Fortunately, being Bartrand's younger brother keeps me on my toes. Maker knows he lacks subtlety. I'm the one who pulls strings to keep the coterie out of our hair. Keep us just a whisker ahead of the other families.
A lot of things can keep you awake, you know. I wouldn't reach for the doom first.
Sure, I could have a cup of tea in the morning, but I hear it's bad for you. I've spent my whole life in Kirkwall. Dangerous enough most days, but it doesn't compare to the deep roads. So, this will be, let's just call it an adventure, I guess.
Great. Now we're adventurous.
There you are. I've been here for hours. Hader hasn't shown up. No one has. I don't like this.
I don't like this. That's right up there with what could possibly go wrong.
That's the wench we're looking for. Gut her.
Come here,
hiding in the chantry and sending thugs to finish me off? Coward. He'll not get away with this. Come on.
Isabella, should have known you'd find me here.
Tell your men to burn the letters next time.
Castillon was heartbroken when he heard about the shipwreck. You should have let him know you survived.
It must have slipped my mind.
Where's the relic?
I lost it. Castillon's just going to have to do without.
Lost it? Just like you lost a ship full of valuable cargo?
They weren't cargo, Hader. They were people.
Those slaves were worth 100 sovereigns a head, and you let them scurry off into the wilds. And now the relic's gone too. Castillon won't be happy to hear that. I promise you.
Will someone explain what's going on?
Isabella's been a very bad girl. Ruined a perfect business deal, and then ran away. She didn't tell you?
I told her enough. I said I arranged for a duel, which I did. I also said you wouldn't play fair, which you didn't. We can talk later if you want. Right now, we have other problems.
Castillon isn't a very happy person, is he? Maybe he needs a new hobby.
There's only one way to settle this.
I was trying to talk him down. Trust me,
It's better this way. Castillon won't hear about me from Hader, but he'll find me eventually. I just have to get him the relic. It's simple as that.
Who is Castillon?
He's a powerful merchant based in Antiva. I believe he has ties to the Felicissima Armada. I used to work for him. The jobs mostly involved smuggling lyrium, jewels, or the occasional criminal acquaintance. He paid well.
What's this about you freeing slaves?
I was asked to escort Castillon's cargo ship. I got a bad feeling about the job partway through. Boarded the ship to find slaves. Nearly 200. Elves, humans, children even. It was sickening. They paid Castillon to take them away from the Blight. He took their money and sold them into slavery. Even I know that's wrong. Didn't expect that, did you, Guardsman?
What's so interesting about the relic?
I don't really know what it is, except that it's ancient and worth my weight in gold. Castillon has me chasing it down as payback for freeing his slaves. To be honest, I think he just wants me dead. But that would be letting me off easy.
You hired Lucky to track down information on the relic?
That's right. He insisted he knew everything that was going on in Kirkwall. He lied. I bet he doesn't even know everything going on in his pants.
Did you end up in Kirkwall because your ship was destroyed?
There was a storm. The ship ran aground on the reefs near the city. I managed to make it to shore. Most of my men weren't as lucky. Poor sods. I knew some of those men almost 10 years. Ah, balls.
If getting the relic gets Castillon off your back, then I'll help you retrieve it.
I still don't know where it is, but you'll be the first to know if I hear anything. Anyway, thanks for helping me out with Hader. I think I'll tag along for a while. There might be something I could do for you. And I have a room at the Hanged Man if you're looking for company later. He's ignoring me now. Hey! Is my coin not good enough for you? Oh, Hawk. Thanks for helping me with that little problem I had. You going to buy me a drink to celebrate our victory?
I don't know if that's wise.
Oh, please. Fixating on what's wise makes you forget what's fun. Oh, before I forget, are you still looking for work? Because I have a friend who needs some help.
Is this a friend or a friend?
I never let him steer my ship, if that's what you're asking. From what I hear, he doesn't have good control of his rudder. His name's Martin. He has a room right here in the Hanged Man. Tell him I sent you. Now, you going to leave me to my drinking or what?
Drinking from their tub again.
You have to when you're dealing with this lot. Let's see how you...
The Ferelden, eh? Athenril said you might help me. Some raider captains are having secret meetings at night in Lowtown. The job's simple. Break up the meeting and kill every one of the bastards.
That's not much to go on.
It's enough to do the job.
Just tell me where they are.
All the details are in this letter. If you manage to eavesdrop on the meeting before you kill them, there'll be extra in it for you. I'll be here.
Really like sailing?
Like it? I love it. The salt spray on my face, the wind whipping by my ears, the gulls screaming overhead. I love it all.
Oh, don't you get sick? I was so sick on our trip across the sea.
Were you in the hold?
Everyone was in the hold.
There's your problem. You need to be up on deck, under the sky, with nothing between you and the horizon. Sailing is like sex. Do it wrong and it'll make you sick. But do it right, and there's no feeling in the world like it.
Hey, who are you?
My, you're jumpy. Look at you, cowering in a corner. What happened to the fearless, dashing raider I used to know?
I'm not a raider anymore, Isabella.
I'm just an honest merchant now.
Please, Martin. You wouldn't know honest if I tied you up and spanked you with it.
You tie him up. I'll go find some honesty.
Very funny, Isabella. You said you could find me help. This is the best you could do, eh?
Maybe we should just leave then.
Let's not be hasty. I'll take what I can get. I need someone to help me find out where the raiders have hidden my stolen cargo. This job's as easy as a peg-legged tavern wench. And there's good coin in it to boot.
You used to be a raider. What happened?
Yes, I was a raider. Back then it was just smuggling and petty thievery. It's changed since that madman Ianto took power around here. Extortion, murder, kidnapping. He does it all. It's just not to my taste. I tried to get out, but he didn't like that. This scar on my neck, he gave it to me. Slit my throat and threw me overboard. I tried to start a new life away from this bullshit. And he has his men chase me down and steal my cargo.
You knew what he was.
Why would the raiders want your cargo? Is it valuable?
How should I know why they want it? It's just spices and herbs. Nothing special.
What did the raiders do to you?
They closed in on my ship and forced her into the cliffs. My crew and I barely made it out alive. They must have salvaged the cargo when it washed ashore.
Are the raiders a big problem around here?
They've got some big plan for Kirkwall, or so I've heard. If they're not a problem now, they will be soon.
It's your cargo. You look for it.
Those raiders are still looking for me. I'm not going to draw their attention.
I'll take care of it.
You'll need to look around the docks. The crates bear the seal of the Orlesian Port Authority, so you'll know it when you see it.
You're assuming I know what an Orlesian Port Authority seal looks like.
It's fancy. Just like everything Orlesian. I've had it with the raiders, and this cargo is the key to me getting on the straight and narrow. You're doing me a huge favor here, friend. Thank you, and be careful.
Intruders!
The raiders are dead.
You've done Ferelden and Amaranthine a great service.
to mend. Find you intimidating. What about Wesley? Did he?
Isabella. Too soon, too personal, too... everything coming from you.
Oh, sore spot?
If you don't shut up, I'll give you a sore spot.
Watch out by the Canary compound. They seem very big. Did you? Board us?
I'm looking for some cargo.
You're in luck. Cargo all around. Take your pick.
A laborer with a smart mouth. You hardly ever see those.
What do you want?
I'm looking for crates sealed by the Orlesian Port Authority.
Haven't seen any. Sorry.
Talk to the harbour master. I'll bet he's got information about your cargo. He's in his office.
Hey, if you're done wagging your tongue, can we get those...
Yes, good times, wasn't it? Keep walking, Hawk.
In the mu...
Looking for something special, friend?
Kirkwall ain't what it used to be. That's good for some, I guess.
Stand it up, shit for shakes. I've got elves working on it.
Have you seen an elf about? Short, blonde hair, slight build?
Shipping manifest.
I'm looking for cargo bearing the seal of the Orlesian Port Authority.
Ugh. Adam, deal with this.
I apologize on Liam's behalf. He is a very, very busy man. I'm Adam, the Harbour Master's assistant. I understand you're looking for Orlesian cargo. I have seen the crates. I can't remember where. Such a shame.
I can't imagine what you mean.
The clink of gold coin often jogs my memory.
Is this enough to help you remember?
Ah, it's coming back to me. The cargo is in Alton Woodrow's warehouse, by the dock. I'm glad we could help each other out.
Do you know anything about the Mage Underground?
Good work, Breakback. There's a bonus if we get through our manifesto.
I know your face. The boys in Orlane ain't an inch after you.
A sneer on your lip, but want in your eye.
Coming. Tell the others.
This is private property.
What are you guarding?
Imported goods.
Who owns this warehouse?
Master Woodrow, I suppose. It's rented storage space.
Let's see what's behind that door.
No visitors allowed.
I must have taken a wrong turn.
Be off with you then.
If the deep roads is what you want, you have the coin to do it.
I said this is private property.
You're in my way.
We're under attack!
Tread lightly around here. Slave driver. Ooh, the Black Hand. A blend of 27 toxic plant essences with a healthy dollop of cobra venom for that extra kick. That poison will kill a man in 2 breaths. Can I have it? You have such pretty hair. What a lovely color.
Other children used to laugh at me for having ginger hair.
Really? Oh, I bet you were cute. Did you have pigtails?
Sometimes.
How precious. Little Aveline running around the village with her flaming orange pigtails streaming behind her. And little boys all scattering and screaming for mercy as she approached.
Shut up, whore. So, Isabella, you're a captain.
That's right, big girl. What of it?
I don't remember your name on any registries. Every ship that docks has to declare.
I never docked. And you're no port authority.
And you are no merchant.
Ooh, scrutiny.
You're smuggling poison. I thought you were trying to change your ways.
I got the stuff from a legitimate supplier, and I'm going to sell it through legitimate channels. It's all legitimate.
It's poison. It kills people.
I just sell it. I'm not responsible for what people do with it. So, Where is it?
Do you know where Alton Woodrow's warehouse is?
Merchant Woodrow's place. I know it. Thanks for this, friend. You've more than earned your reward. I'm gonna get my goods. You come back once I'm set up, I'll give you a discount.
So he comes down.
It's not always fun and games on the sea, though. There are storms and hostile pirates. And it's trying being cooped up with men who haven't seen a woman in months. You're a woman? Exactly. And I don't usually let them touch me, so they get frustrated. I insist all of them get alone time. Helps with the crankiness.
They're already lonely. Why would you insist they be alone some more?
Ah, Meryl.
What? Did I miss something?
Go think about it. Maybe it'll come to you.
Your son has taken refuge with the Dalish.
What? But he is human. They did not even wish me to raise him among them. But they do value magic more than the men of Kirkwall. Perhaps he can have both safety and freedom. As I said, I have little money. But this is a Dalish ring that has been in my family for generations. Please accept it with my thanks.
Greetings. You kept my brother out far too late last night. He's an adult now, isn't he? But I promise I'll be working.
What am I, your servant? There's a letter for you on the desk.
Mistress Hawke, Ariane tells me you sought a better path than the Circle for her son, Fainriel. I thought perhaps you would be willing to show mages a kindness once more.
Do I know you?
I am Sir Thrask, of the Templars. I know from the compassion with which you treated Fainriel that you are someone who cares for the fate of apostate mages.
Can I get the details before I agree?
There are a number of apostates hiding in those caverns.
And you've allowed this?
I was hoping you might speak to the group. Convince them to surrender peacefully before my fellow Templars arrive.
Who are these apostates? Where did they come from?
These are the mages of the former Circle at Starkhaven. It burned to the ground, and their Templars sent for us to relocate the survivors. Unfortunately, they escaped on the journey. With their phylacteries burned, it has been nearly impossible to track them.
What's a phylactery?
When a mage joins the Circle, the first enchanter takes a sample of his blood. It is used as a focus to track the mage should he escape.
Do the other Templars intend to do worse than recapture the mages?
Sir Karas is a Knight Lieutenant of the Templars, a great crony of Meredith. Should he find apostates hiding from pursuit, Meredith will consider him justified in murdering the lot of them.
Who's Meredith?
You have clearly not been in Kirkwall long. Meredith is Knight Commander. She has changed the rules for mages in Kirkwall. They are less free than elsewhere. Though I dare say she has created as much dissent as obedience.
I would not like to see this become a massacre.
Thank you. Your compassion does you credit. These mages have shown they attack Templars on sight. You have a better chance than I to convince them they are better off alive in the Circle than free and dead. Sir Karas hunts them as well. If they have not surrendered by the time he arrives, this will be a bloodbath.
If the deep roads is what you want, only one way out for these mages.
Blessing. I thought I was going to die down here in this tomb. Are you with the Templars? Please, I need to go back to the Circle. I never wanted to get involved in this. Not when he started making those things.
Who is he?
Decimus. It was his decision. He kept saying the Templars would label us blood mages if we fled. Why not use it if it's our best tool? He slit his wrist, and the magic... it rose from the blood and woke the skeletons in the cave. I ran. Decimus is wrong. Blood magic is a work of evil, not just a power the Templars keep from us for spite.
Decimus is the leader of these mages.
He's crazy. He said with our phylacteries gone, no one could find us. We would be free. I think maybe he set the fire. There must be a demon working through him. No normal man would profane the dead like this.
The Templar Thrask is waiting outside. Surrender to him and you won't be hurt.
I surrender. Take me to the Templars. I don't want anything to do with this blood magic. The rest of them, they're still following Decimus. He's gone mad. I think he'd kill us all just to take the Templars down.
They're here! The Templars have come to take us back to the Circle.
Decimus, no! Stay your hand. These are no Templars.
What do I care what shield they carry? If they challenge us, the dead themselves will meet the call.
You killed him! Oh, Decimus. You should have listened to me, love. I saw what you are. How could you murder one of your own just for daring to defy the Templars?
You think he brought those skeletons to life to serve me tea?
I warned him. I told him once he marked himself as a blood mage, that was all anyone would see.
She won't admit it, but it's obvious she's just as corrupted.
I swear to you, I have had no truck with demons. Please, we only want our freedom. Without your help, the Templars will execute us all for Decimus's crimes.
If not in the Circle, how do you intend to live?
I hear there are places outside the pre-marches where the Templars are not so vigilant.
I would never turn a fellow mage over to the Templars.
Then we must first throw off pursuit. There is a Templar who followed us. You must have met him when you entered. Kill him, and we can get clear of Kirkwall before the Templars send more men.
We should help them. We don't know what this good-hearted Templar truly intends to do.
They would have us kill a man for doing the just work of a Templar.
Will you buy us time to flee Kirkwall?
I will do what I can to help, but not at the cost of Thrask's life.
If you will not kill him, then you must convince him you killed us. That is our only hope. But I spent 2 weeks traveling with these Templars. They strike first and think after. They are far easier to kill than to fool.
I can't do that.
Are you trying to tell me this boy is all that's left of the apostates?
I ran away when they began to use blood magic, sir.
They are not in the caverns, Sir Karas. I have thoroughly explored.
Who is this?
I was helping Sir Thrask. The apostates are all dead.
Dead? But I asked...
You've always been soft on the robes, Thrask. Makes me wonder if these demon worshippers haven't gotten their fingers into your mind. Men, search the caverns and keep these interlopers under guard until we see what's in there.
You're wasting time better spent tracking any escaped apostates.
Seems like you've got something to hide. Show these fools what happens when you interfere with a Templar's investigation.
By the grace of the Maker, they're dead. I wanted this to end peacefully, not...
There can be no peace between the Mages and Templars of Kirkwall, sir. It has gone too far.
You did not aid your fellow Templars. Does that mean you're leaving the Order?
I suppose my side has been picked. I will tell the other Templars you killed Karas and I came upon the bodies. I will give a false trail to follow.
Thank you. And thank you. Please accept this as the only reward I can offer. I dare not carry a staff with the mark of Starkhaven on it now. This has been more than I expected. We must away.
As must we. Come, Alan. I'm sorry you were the only one I could save.
This city is amazing. Do you know I saw someone get mugged? Right outside. It was fascinating. Everything happens here all at once. How does anyone keep it all straight?
Someone has jumped outside your door and that's exciting?
It must be the Alien Age greeting. Hasn't happened to me yet, though. They must not like me. It's so busy here. So many things just get... lost.
Do you miss the Dalish?
I miss Haren Pyval stories. The creaking of Aravels in the breeze. The city is so busy and confusing. And the elves here are not like my clan. But I'll get used to Kirkwall in time.
The Templars haven't found you, have they?
I've been careful, even among the Dalish. Keepers never work magic in public. And I think the Templars don't even see me. I'm just another elf in the alienage.
Are you feeling lost here, Meryl?
A bit. But I'll adjust. I'm glad you came by. I needed someone to talk to.
How do you do that?
Do what, kitten?
You sort of
swagger when you walk. I've been trying, but I trip over my own feet when I do it.
You just strut. It's not something you practice.
How do I learn it then?
It comes to you, usually at night. It's like a lover, or maybe a burglar. Either it ravishes you, or runs off with all your jewelry, and you have to run it down and stab it in the heart. And that metaphor got a bit away from me, didn't it?
I think it did, but it was certainly exciting. Not... Commander Meredith would kill us all if she could.
I know your face. I am Tobias, and you are a hawk. I remember your father. Malcolm was a good man.
I found a letter you sent. About a friend of his you could not name.
Ah, the Templar. Your father could not write to him directly, lest the Order find out.
The Templar?
He allowed your father to leave Kirkwall. Rule is not served by caging the best of us. A wise man.
Not what I would expect from a Templar.
There was a time when the rules of the Order could be interpreted to suit a situation. Unlike these days. I will send the letters I held. It seems fitting that they return to family. Such a friendship. Few like your father remain. Even fewer like the Templar. Rest well at the Maker's side, Sir Morivat Carver.
We have found neither hide nor hair of the lad, Fainreal. I can only think he has fallen victim to demons or slavers.
I found this. It was addressed to you. It seems to be from your daughter.
My daughter? Then... you know what she is. How she died. When I traced her to that warehouse, I should have forced her into the circle. My own weakness in the face of her pleas is what destroyed her. It is why I urged Ariani not to give in when Fainreal wished to hide. If only I had been so strong for Olivia.
You have my sympathies. Do not fear the Templars finding out.
Thank you. She is at peace now. I would not wish to see her name smeared while her ashes are still warm.
How many people didn't make it out of here? We were lucky.
This is yours, if I'm not mistaken.
Shh. I can't accurately express.
Ah, welcome, my dear friend, to Sol's shop. My name is Solicitus. Please take a look around. My apologies in advance. Our shelves are a bit bare at the moment. Actually, if you're interested, I could use a bit of help to remedy that.
How can I help?
It's been too dangerous to leave the city of late, and the substances I require for my creations are, of course, elsewhere. Perhaps you could find them. You'll be compensated for your time, have no fear. I'll also give you first pick of my new creations.
Make up a list of what you need, and I'll keep an eye out for you.
Perfect. A discount on everything in the shop, Syrah. Ah, my young friend. There's the search. Welcome back to Souls, my friend.
I can't thank you enough for letting me come here. But it hasn't been quite what I thought.
Has the Keeper been able to help with your magic?
Sadly, his is not a problem we've encountered before. I'm studying our ancient writings, but it is a slow process. His human blood makes it difficult to train him.
You know, when I lived in Kirkwall, I felt like everyone could tell by my face I was an elf. Now I understand how easily I passed. It's harder here.
Still, we appreciate you bringing him here, friend. We would not see a son of our tribe suffer alone. Please, accept this as our thanks.
Is it my imagination? Or is Master Island's temper getting worse with time?
Dalish crafting is second to none, I assure you.
Do you have a parrot, Isabella?
What would I want a parrot for?
What about a peg leg? Do you have one of those?
You can see that I don't, dear.
Eye patch?
I'm disappointing you terribly, aren't I? And no hook for a hand either.
Seems advanced pirate stories are awful.
I think that's enough of that.